Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we have a fun one for you. It's been a crazy, hectic week for both Dom and I, and there's some new releases to talk about. He saw some movies that I didn't see that he's going to get to chat about. And then, of course, we're going to end our show with our favorite segment of rankings. Today is going to be top 3 potato chips. I'm very excited about that. Big potato chip guy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So think about that over the next, 25, 30 minutes. Tell us what your favorites are. But as always, joined by my partner here, Dom. How are you, bud?
Man, I'm doing better, man. I had a little, I don't know what you want to call it, nasally congestion shit all weekend. I'm about 85% now. I rarely get sick. I mean, when I say rarely, I mean, when I got COVID like 2 years ago, that was the first time I've been sick and since I was a kid, really. So any of this stuff is new to me. I don't know what to do half the time. Luckily, my wife is there to guide the way. Because I'm just like, I don't know. I drink some juice, take some Theraflu. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely. I'm kind of the same way, right? You know what I mean? It's a rarity. So when like for me, like when I do get sick, I get sick. You know what I mean? Like there's like no holding back at all. So it's definitely interesting. Definitely a big week for us this week. There was plenty of movies to talk about. Just a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to review or recap the Other Black Girl trailer, new series coming to Hulu very soon. News of the week, we're going to talk about the Blue Beetle box office and the rest of the box office. Movie reviews, we're going to talk about Shudder, his new film, Bad Things. Dom and I saw this together at a screening on Monday. And then Dom's going to give some thoughts on Strays and Gran Turismo 2 as well. Like I said, you already know what we're going to end it with some recommendations and top rankings. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the trailer of the week.
Yeah, the trailer of the week. This is unusual because this is a series and not just a film. The Other Black Girl will be releasing on Hulu September 13th. It is based on a book. Quick rundown. Nella, an editorial assistant, is tired of being the only Black girl at her company, so she's excited when Hazel is hired. But as Hazel's star begins to rise, Nella spirals out and discovers something sinister is going on at the company. I don't think we talk enough about how many bangers that Hulu puts out. Everybody always talks about Apple TV. We always talk about,
rightfully so. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. We'll talk about Prime series. We'll talk about some Max series, even some Netflix. But Hulu, it just kind of falls by the wayside. And people, we know we watch them, but they don't get enough love. But what did you think of this trailer?
So I found out about this through getting the assignment for the show. And I hadn't heard about it. It's crazy that you messaged me about it because I got the assignment from my editor and he was like, hey, do you want to cover this? I'm like, yeah, count me in. I'm pretty much count me in for anything. But and then you hit me up today out of nowhere and we're like, hey, let's do this trailer. And I was like, oh shit, like this is the show. So I watched the trailer and I'm there. Like I'm there. Like it looks very suspenseful. It looks very relatable in the aspect of, obviously I can't relate to the other aspect of it, but it's relatable to the aspect of like having that opposing person in your workplace that you might be jockeying for position with. But then like it's the new person and you're like, I'm the old head, I got nothing to worry about. And then you start to see them slowly. It just looks kind of creepy in some aspects. I don't know. It's I don't know how to characterize. Like it's listed as like a drama, comedy, mystery. And that's exactly what I would say I got from the trailer. I laughed a little bit. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then you can feel the tensity in the trailer, right?
Yeah, that I'm curious to see where it goes because it is all those things you said. It looks like it gives you a little bit of everything. And just reading that synopsis, I've been in this situation, unfortunately. Me, another guy, it was all this, yeah, black brother, we gotta stick together. And then Turns out he was against me the whole entire time. It could easily have been this kind of book or this show. And it's very rare that I see something just from the trailer, and then when I found out from a book, I'm like, I kind of want to read that book. That sounds really interesting, because I know, of course, the book can go into greater detail than possibly a series can, but maybe that's why they made this a series and not a film. Because this looks like one of the ones that is going to be maybe their sleeper for, getting nominated for something down the road.
Yeah, it definitely has a fantastic mystery surrounding it. It gives you enough pieces to kind of get a small idea of what's going on. But obviously, when you read the synopsis, there's going to be twists and turns coming, and you don't know exactly what they're going to be. Does it maybe have like a supernatural type of thing, layers behind? You don't really know where the intrigue is. But to me, like I'm excited. Like I'm very. I mean, I've said this on the show now. I'm into my TV era right now. Like everybody's in their Taylor Swift era. I'm in my TV show watching era right now. Like I've been enjoying the hell out of TV right now, and I don't foresee it stopping. You know what I mean? Like I just really don't. I'm having so much fun, and there's so much coming out that's like not even really being talked about. And over the course that Changling show, I really want to watch. I just haven't found any time to watch. There's this new show coming out, The Morning Show season 3. There's a show called Still Up. This is all Apple TV, by the way. I am very, very bipartial to Apple TV. It might be because of the access, but but I'll tell you what, The Other Black Girl looks fantastic. It drops September 13th, right? Yep. Are we doing? Is that all at once drop? I think it's an all at once drop.
That I don't know. I would hope so.
I think it's
yep.
All 10 episodes.
When you have something that has like the tinge of mystery, you don't want to like wait week to week. It sucks because trying to like what's gonna happen, like
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a binge guy. You know what I mean? There's like so many shows that I have to watch. Like right now, I'm watching like Temptation Island, which is just a reality show that I love to watch. But I'm like, man, I need an episode. Like, when I get Netflix's reality, like Netflix sent me the ultimatum. Like I had all 10. I got to binge it all at once. I'm like, yeah, I'm seated, baby. Let's go. I've been covering like Master Chef or Hidden Remote, doing little interviews with the chefs after they get eliminated and stuff like that. And I'm like, this shit's weekly. I'm like, man, I need that. I need that binge effect. So,
and shout out to my friend Danielle if you're listening, because she just put in, I guess, an application or a video for Love Is Blind. So hopefully she's able to get through, because I was like, I'm gonna have to link up her.
Right?
Link up her.
Yeah, let's fucking go, baby. Let's go, baby. Yeah, man. I tell you what, man, I love reality TV, man. I can talk about reality TV tumbling in the face.
Look, and I wish I had the pool that people think that we have within these streamers, because I've been friends with her for such a long time. She is made for reality TV, man. Like through stories, through all the crazy stuff that's happened. Like she's made for reality TV, and especially this kind of show.
I love it. Guys, you want to know how serious? I literally have a podcast dedicated to, reality TV. It's Love and Reality Podcast. You can check it out here on this YouTube channel. Also, I've got interviews with the cast of The Ultimatum coming up. I'm super stoked. All right, let's jump into some news of the week. All right, folks. This week we're going to talk a little bit of the box office. Barbie has finally been dethroned from being the number one movie for like 8,367,000 weeks in a row, with Blue Beetle hitting the town at number one with 25.4 million. Obviously, the number's probably not where they wanted it. I think it's kind of where I expected it, just based off of the lack of interest, the lack of promotion, the lack of just DCEU just kind of falling to the wayside here as we get that transition, even though this is apparently supposed to be a movie within the new universe. I don't even know anymore. But coming in number two, we had Barbie, 21.5 million, Oppenheimer, 10.6 million, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming in at 8.4 million, and then Strays sputters out the gate with a little over $8.3 million. Dom, any thoughts on this box office, my God?
Man, so since uh Ninja Turtles has come out, I've been very disappointed on the response to the movie as far as people going to it. Like I thought this was gonna be like how Barbie has been, maybe not to that same effect, but like I thought this was gonna like be number 2 every week, possibly number 1 one of the weeks, but it hasn't been doing as great, and I don't know what the issue is because they have had promotional materials and marketing that has been out for hell well over a year, some of it. And from us through other people, I've heard nothing. Nobody had really any negatives for the film, so I'm kind of confused on what's the issue. I have noticed there's like this weird thing with parents, like any kind of small inconvenience in a film that they hear about, they don't want to go. Like there was like Lightyear. There was a guy I argued with online. He was like, I heard there's like 2 women kissing. I was like, bro, it's like, or 2 lesbians. And I was like, it's literally for like 2 seconds in the film. You blink and you miss it. And he was like, I'm not taking my kid to that. And I'm like, all right, you're making your kid miss out on stuff. Like the kids don't see this stuff. The parents are the ones making this stuff a bigger issue. But regardless, I still don't understand why that Ninja Turtles. I don't think it really has anything like that in the movie, other than April is different than you expect. But like, it's a great character, one of the best characters in the movie. So that has been very confusing. Strays, I expected because it's rated R, so it doesn't, especially when they're like, oh, it's a dog movie. Oh, they say fuck a lot. Okay, maybe I won't, we won't have the kids out to see that one. But every time I've gone to the theater since Barbie has released, it's been a mass of Barbie patrons every time, no matter if it's a Wednesday, a Tuesday, a Thursday. Every time I go, the majority of the people are there to see Barbie. So shouts out to Greta for creating this movie, because I haven't seen anything like this in a while. And it's crazy because who's there to see Barbie. They're all in pink. And every week it's a flood of pink people going to see this. So
I just want to speak briefly about that. I remember that when Spider-Man, which one did all 3 of them? No Way Home? Was it No Way Home?
Yeah.
All 3 of them, all 3 Spider-Mans were in it? Was it No Way Home? Okay. Yeah. So I remember when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, and everybody was talking about going to see that movie 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And there was a lot of backlash because people were going to see the movie 2 and 3 and 4 or 5 times. And the loudest people are the same people going to see Barbie 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times, which is to each its own, but don't criticize. But I hope the thing about this is my biggest problem is this. I don't mind you seeing a movie 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I mean, most of these people, I'm sure, have like a Regal or an AMC thing, so you can see it multiple times. But I want people to support other films. You know what I mean? Like that's my biggest thing is I want people to support other films. The one good thing that I do think about Ninja Turtles is I think because of the reception for it, I do think it's going to have long legs. Yeah, it's sitting at a little bit over $118 million, so it's not bad for its $70 million budget. I think that if it can grow to about, let's just say, $200 million, I think we can get a sequel out of that, because there is one there, obviously, if you watch the post-credit scene. Also, looking at the box office, Barbie is about 70 million away from passing the Super Mario Brothers this year. So that's definitely something to watch out for. I do think that it's going to happen. Like,
yeah,
it's going to happen. But it's definitely climbing the rankings. Right now, it's going to pass the Super Mario Brothers for domestic at number 14 all time at the box office. I think that it's got the potential to rise to about domestically, locally. I'd say you're at 20. You're probably looking at maybe another 40 million. It could rise high as top 12-ish. And then, of course, worldwide box office, we're looking at it being the number 21 movie going into number 20. So you're probably looking at this movie ending up in the top, probably I'd say 15-ish. If it passes the Super Mario Brothers like I expect it to, it'll cement itself as a top 15 movie, grossing movie of all time. So it's insane.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. And not to short side anything here too, but like I think what is lost in the shuffle kind of, and most people don't realize, like Oppenheimer is at $717 million. So two movies that came out the same weekend are at over $2 billion. But what's even more impressive about Oppenheimer is it's rated R.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-hour movie.
I know.
3 hours rated R.
I know. Tom Cruise is heated. Man, he's so mad.
He's pretty mad. He's at the thing about it is a lot of people are like, oh, that was a bomb. I mean, that's at 540 right now. 540.
Right.
Is it where he probably where the $700 million was good? No, I didn't think it was going to be. I think it did get a dent because of Oppenheimer. There was people talking about and the thing about it is Oppenheimer's performing strong overseas. It's like a 60-40 split. It's got $432 million overseas, so that's big for it. But to think that an R-rated 3-hour movie can do, I'd say this probably finishes around 800 million. Right. That's insane. Like that's fantastic numbers. You know what I mean? I think that honestly, hang on, this is domestic. So Passion of the Christ did. Hang on, let's do worldwide. The number one rated R movie is Joker at $1.074 million. So right now, Oppenheimer is the 5th highest ranked R-rated movie of all time. It goes Joker, Deadpool 2, Deadpool, Matrix Reloaded, and then Oppenheimer. So it should, if it gets to 800 million, it would only be second to the Joker. So that's impressive.
Yeah, that's
like
wild.
That's pretty impressive. Box office is crazy, man.
I will say the one thing I'll say about the repeat viewing of Barbie or Oppenheimer is, specifically Barbie, is the people who are like, this movie, what's the saying they said? Go woke, go broke. Yeah. You just not gonna make any money. Well, you were wrong. Like, you couldn't be more wrong. Like, holy shit.
Let me know how you. let me know how that worked out for you guys.
Right.
Yeah, that was way to go, Daily Wire. I don't know. They could probably hear that and they might come for us. All right, let's transition over to some movie reviews.
Yeah, so we'll start off with Bad Things, our Shudder / AMC Plus release. Released this past Friday. Written or directed by Stuart Thorndike, starring Hari Neff, Gail Rankin, Molly Ringwald. Man, look, y'all sleeping on Molly Ringwald. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Just when you watch, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Annabelle Dexter-Jones and Rad Perea. A group of friends go to a hotel for a weekend getaway and soon discover that women do bad things here. And I think that the more vague for this movie is, the better. But I'll let you start off. We had, I wouldn't say high hopes, but we were gleefully curious about this film going into it. That they were putting it in the theater for us to see, and it being a Shudder release. So what were your thoughts?
So the thing about this movie is it's one of the most interesting movies that I think I saw this year. It's one of the first movies this year that Dom and I, we had an extensive conversation about this movie after it was over. Like, we sat in the parking lot for a little bit. We typically always do that, but sometimes the conversation veers off to other things outside of the movie we just saw. But almost the entire conversation was based on this movie. So one of the best things a film can do after seeing it is leave a mark, right? Thorndike's script here does that. I sat in my chair after the movie was over, pondering what the hell did I watch, and trying to process it. And I'll be honest with you. On one hand, we talked about this. I do have some issues with it. There is some issues with it. But then the other aspect of it, Thorndike's world building of the characters in that first 40 minutes, it's some of the best writing that I've seen of characters this year. Like it's such a fascinating world building, and it's really built by this just stunning cinematography by Grant Greenberg, and Jason Faulkner's score just really heightened the level of intrigue. The thing is the first 45 minutes is pretty great. I don't know if I love the direction it took in the latter half of the film. It's the thing about it is it's not everybody. It's gonna draw those undoubtedly comparisons to like The Shining, right? And that's how she kind of presented the film. And while the film might not reach that type of heights, it's the type of movie that we're going to talk about. And it's a film that's going to keep thinking like, what the fuck happened? Like there's a lot of questions that I don't have answers to that I feel like maybe in a second and a third viewing that I think might be answered. And as far as like the performances, Gail Rankin's pretty great in it. I thought her performance is great. And Annabelle Dexter-Jones really was my MVP of the film because it was just like this quirky, weird and odd, and like all in the good way, fantastic delivery of this character that just was quirky, weird, and odd. Like I said, my only issue is I feel like it just didn't drive home the film the way that it built it. And that's my biggest issue. But watch this fucking movie though. Dom, what did you think of it, man?
Yeah, I think kind of getting to what might have been like the biggest drawback is that when you see Shudder come across the screen, you're expecting something to go full horror, full creepy. And this movie is one of those movies where the pieces put together make this film really, really intriguing. I mean, like you said, the score gives you the atmosphere. That was the first thing I said. It was an atmospheric movie because without the pauses, without the silence, without the score, it hits way different. So it continues to build, and it gives you this kind of false sense of security throughout. You're like, when's this? Oh, okay, that didn't happen. You keep kind of guessing when you think something's going to happen, and it skirts all of the expectations. Now, I mean, you can, say that this is the queer Shining in the atmosphere and what we kind of get towards the end. But like you said, I do think that if maybe it would have benefited from 15 more minutes, maybe 20 more minutes, because it was like a pretty tight like hour and 33 minutes, 36 minutes. And but yeah, the performances, the atmosphere, and like you said, the characters, there's something, and I think that the character building is what makes the movie creepy, is that as we learn more and more about these characters, that's the eeriness, because you realize like, oh, this person knows this person intimately, and this person knows this person. This person may or may not be alive. This person is, holding on to this dark secret. This person isn't who they say they are. There's a lot of things that play into what makes this film super interesting, super intriguing. But it is one of those ones at the end where you go, what was real? What wasn't real? Like, so I did. I feel like what you started off saying is kind of what I wrote in my review, was that good art makes you feel something, whether it's good or bad. That's art. If you feel nothing, you're just like, that's when you didn't make something good. So regardless of if there's negative remarks, positive remarks, it's a good piece of art because it does make you think. It does make you have conversation. It does stay with you. Because this one, I've been all week long, I was just like, so does that mean I'm literally thinking so deep into every single aspect, and that's what you want out of a film, is you want that the complexities throughout. So it's one of those ones where it is either you love it or you hate it. You're not going to feel indifferent about it. It's either, oh shit, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, or what the fuck, this is possibly the most terrible movie I've ever seen. But that's art, and Stewart made a great piece of art.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would, exactly. It's one of those independent films that I hope it definitely needs to be in the conversation, especially technically wise. With that cinematography and with that score, it's something that I will have in the back of my mind as we inch closer and closer to the end of the year. Which, come to think of it, like I was like, somebody said, "Hey, did you know 2024 was only 4 months away?" And I was like, "Holy shit!" Right. I was like, because, and people like what I mean by that is like Dom and I, like we have like it's like the calm before the storm. Like September is legitimately the calm before the storm, because we're about to hit award season head on, and it's going to be a wild one, just with everything that's going on.
And again, it's going to be different again. We haven't had a normal award season in a while.
Man, it's
like
it's going to be crazy. It's going to be exhausting, but I'm excited for it in some aspects, and it'll be wild in some other aspects. But before we jump into some recommendations, Dom, you saw 2 more films at theaters, and you're going to give some thoughts about. What do we got?
So I'll start with Strays. It doesn't really need a full breakdown as far as what it's about. It's about a dog who is loving, wants to be considered a good boy, has a terrible owner, and as Reggie, the dog, figures out because of his buddies Bug, Maddie, and Hunter that he has been abandoned, he has this revenge plan of going to bite his owner's dick off. And it's basically, if you remember from the 90s, Homeward Bound. It's the rated R version, minus the cats, or the cat. It's hilarious. It's raunchy as fuck. If you're not a fan of sex and dick jokes, this is not a movie for you. But if you want to just sit back and laugh, like you remember watching like the American Pie movies, the Sex Drives, and all those types of films, this is one of those movies. I mean, I've never seen a film that has dogs tripping on mushrooms. That's hilarious to me. And what they did while they're on mushrooms is even more hilarious. It's a little sad, but it's hilarious. But I mean, Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell, and anybody, like him and Kevin Hart, fantastic. Him and Jamie Foxx, fucking fantastic. Jamie Foxx, like, I hesitate to say these words because I said these words about Jonathan Majors and he's in headlines, but Jamie Foxx really he can't do much wrong, man. Like, this dude is uber talented, and to be able to be up there with Will Ferrell, who's one of the, God tier levels of comedic actors, and, kind of steal the show to me, is I mean, the dude's fantastic. Movie's a lot of fun. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10, and that's because it's not like anything new-ish, groundbreaking. It's kind of a straightforward story, and to see Will Forte get Will Forte gets messed up to the sound of Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. Fucking cinema gold right there. And then I also saw Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo is going to be probably the biggest surprise movie of the year, because I don't think most of us, when you hear Gran Turismo, you don't think it's a video game movie, but this story is based on a true story. I didn't know this. And they kind of give you, after the film, they kind of show you the guy, and he actually did his own stunt. He was a stuntman in the movie. This movie is edge of your seat, emotional, high octane, fucking. Look, and I said this to Mason. He was with me, and I was like, "Hey, this might be the greatest video game movie of all time." I don't feel bad saying that. The movie is legitimately really good. David Harbour is definitely the MVP. That dude, him and I can't remember the main actor's name, but they, dude, I almost cried. You don't cry during a video game movie, but damn it, I almost did, because it makes you care about these characters so much. The story is such a strong story of, trying to follow big dreams. Parents are like, no. Your friends are like, maybe. and you're like, this is what I love, this is what I'm gonna do. And I think we can all kind of relate to that. And to see it all unfold and then find out that it's true is like fucking mind blowing. But I definitely recommend seeing that one because holy shit, it's gonna blow you away. No, and this is one of the ones you can go with high expectations, no expectations, and you can be like, holy shit. Like people are raising their hands in the screening, cheering. Like it is a solid movie. It exceeds all expectations. So yeah, definitely. I don't think it's gonna quite do the numbers that I think it should do because of marketing. Because it didn't like when see the trailers. It's like, it looks okay, but if this movie would have came out around the same time as the F1 series on Netflix and kind of like a piggyback almost, dude, it'd fucking do hella numbers. But it's a great film. I highly suggest seeing it. And Strays, look, man, take your buddies, go find you your dude bros, your Harley Quinns, and go fucking laugh your ass off. So, yeah.
You got me amped. You know what I mean? Like, you got me amped for the Gran Turismo. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I think I'm gonna have to go figure out when I'm gonna go see it this week. You know what I mean?
It's definitely one that I go see in the theaters twice.
I don't even know what to say to that. Like,
I don't do that often.
I genuinely don't know what to say to that. All right, let's try. I'm guys. I'm lost for words right now. Let's transition to some watch recommendations. Short and sweet. Go see Gran Turismo. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Each and every week, we try to bring some watch recommendations to the table and find us something different, or maybe something that we're currently watching that you can watch, or something that we watched that has been something that we've seen before and it kind of reignited our love, and something that we're ready to kind of talk about. Dom, what do you have for the audience this week for some watch recommendations?
Movie, Vacation Friends 2 is about to drop, I believe this week, the 25th. So my watch recommendation for film is Vacation Friends, the first one. Legitimately one of the funniest movies. Was it last year, the year before? I mean, John Cena, this dude, if you look at where he started in acting and where he's at now, this dude is miles ahead of like his peers that came from sports entertainment to now. Like it's crazy what he's able to do in comedy. And then Lil Rel, I love Lil Rel. He can do no wrong to me. So you haven't seen Vacation Friends, fucking hysterical. And then TV shows. I just watched the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I believe it comes out. I think they moved it up to like the 22nd, so Tuesday. Great. I tweeted. I don't know all the intricate details. I don't know all the players in this story, this Star Wars story, but I know what things that look great with the storytelling looks really good, and where it looks like it's leading. It's gonna be a great series. I want to say it might be up there with The Mandalorian, because there is a lot more stuff going on. There is a little more depth of these characters already in the first 2 episodes. Some conflict going on already, so it might be they might have a banger on their hands. So yeah, check that out on Disney Plus on Tuesday. What you got?
I didn't even know. Look, I'm sorry. I just didn't even know that we're doing this again. I didn't know there was going to be another Star Wars show. There's no offense to the Star Wars people. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. I love you, but I had no fucking clue. And I enjoyed Skywalker, I think it was. I thought that was fun. I really enjoyed Skywalker, so sue me if you didn't. But all right, so I have 2 recommendations this week that I'm very, very excited to chat about. The first of which is a stand-up comedy special that dropped this week over on Netflix. Jarrett Fried, 37 and single, brand new special over on Netflix. Did you watch it?
No, just the title of it is great.
Oh my God. So literally the entire stand-up special is him talking about being single and being single in the modern day, right? And how hard it is with apps and all of these things. Like one of my favorite bits in the entire thing. I'm pulling out my review here because it was so funny. And he's like, he just hits the stage and goes, "I'm 37 and single and I've got pickier." And he just talks about judging women based on their names on the dating apps. I loved how he kind of deconstructed that entire thing. Two of my favorite lines come from one part. He goes, "Your text," because he was talking about breaking up, and it's hard to break up with people nowadays. You know, you don't want to be not in a relationship. He goes, your texts come in green. If we can't be in the same group chat, how could we live in the same home?" Which is hilarious because any green text messages I get, I literally want to throw across the room. And then the other one was, "You clapped when the plane landed," which I think is just one of the worst things that human beings could ever do. Like, I really just, those two things made me laugh so fucking hard because they're just so relatable and so funny. So Jarrett Fried, 37 and single, on Netflix right now. Hilarious. If you're looking for an hour to watch, just turn it on, enjoy yourself, put it on background noise. This guy will make you laugh. Another show that we just kind of picked up watching randomly. My wife did, and she turned it on. It's At Home with the Furies. It follows Tyson Fury and his family. It's like a reality TV style show, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians or the Stallone family ones. All of those shows, anything that you've ever seen, it's just basically that. But we've got Tyson dealing with that post-retirement thing. Like, you know what I mean? He's retired. He doesn't know what to do with his life. He realizes, like, he's got it, like, as I don't know how old he is off the top of my head, but like at his age,
I think he's our age. I think he's around 36, 37.
He has like a lot of younger kids. Like, I think he's got like 4 kids under the age of like 10 or something like that. So like he's at home a lot more, realizes the housework, the chores, all of that isn't. He's like, I thought retirement was going to be me, drinking and getting drunk on the golf course, not, cleaning up shit everywhere. But he's kind of dealing with the capacity of trying to deal with a post life of being retired. And it's not been, but it's like 9 episodes. I'm not done with it yet, but I think we're like 5 or 6 in, and it's fun. Like, it's fun. It's different. It's easy to throw on. I'm really enjoying it right now. So I think you guys would too, especially like I don't really know a whole lot about Tyson Fury. His brother's on there as well. They kind of follow him around a little bit too. So it's definitely fun and different. And that's kind of the reason why I'm really enjoying it right now. So definitely check it out. It's on Netflix as well. So 2 Netflix recommendations from me this week. So yeah. I'm really excited about Vacation Friends. Like, people shit on the first one. And I'm like, you guys have no taste in life. So,
right.
All right. That being said, we're going to wrap up our show this week with our rankings. All right. I had a few people respond to my tweet earlier. We've got a couple responses. I'm going to give theirs before I give ours. We give ours. We've got the Lay's Kettle Chip Jalapeno flavor. This is from my boy, Eminem Miller. He gave like 2 different jalapeno flavored kettle chips, which I'm not mad about. Y's original. I don't even know what Y's are. Is that it? Like, I don't even know if that's a potato chip. I
don't know either.
I'll take his word for it. Lay's salt and vinegar, Cheetos on the border tortilla chips from my boy Matthew Fox. Some good selections there. Dom, are you a potato chip guy? Before you give anything out, are you a potato chip guy?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely, I fall for things like cereal, potato chip, or something new. I'm gonna try it at least once, and of course I have my go-to favorites.
Yeah, so all right, I want to do something a little bit different here. Before we dive into our top 3, what are some of the ones that are just kind of like the go-to that might not be that GOAT tier, but they're there? You don't mind if they're sitting on the table somewhere, you'll grab some.
I say surprisingly is like the baked original Lay's. So it's the texture.
Fire.
The texture and the crispness of it is like, yeah, I could eat like a whole bag of this and not feel guilty myself. Dude, I probably should, but I won't.
I'm there with you.
Yeah, and then anything usually sour cream and onions always pretty good. And I'm not a huge Pringles fan, but like the baked Lay's, something about that crispness that if I see some Pringles laying around, ain't nothing else, I'm taking them Pringles.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like there's certain kinds of Pringles that I'm a big fan of. Like I'm really just a fan of anything salt and vinegar. Like salt and vinegar. Like it's just good. But all right, without further ado, we are going to jump in our top 3 potato chip rankings. Dom, what are your top 3 potato chips?
Okay. My top 3 potato chips: barbecue Lay's, jalapeno ranch Ruffles, and this is my go-to of all time since I was a kid, the cheddar and sour cream Ruffles.
Cheddar and sour cream, those are the ones that like I feel like are on that tier like right before.
Yeah.
They're so good. Like they're so good. All right, for me, I've become as I get older, we're all, we're getting old here. But as I've gotten older, the kettle cook is something that I really, really love now. I could go with just an old-fashioned regular original chip kettle cook off the chain. But coming in at number 3, I like the Cooler Ranch Doritos. I think the Doritos in general are pretty solid around the board, even the original ones, but I think I've grown to like the Cooler Ranch ones a little bit more. Coming in at number 2, jalapeno kettle cooked chips. When I tell you this is almost number 1. If it wasn't for my number 1, it would probably be number 1. But I'm going to go back to the kettle cooked jar again with salt and vinegar kettle cooked chips. So I think it could be salt and vinegar, like regular salt and vinegar chips. It could be salt and vinegar Pringles. It could be salt and vinegar, whatever the brand. It is just a top tier chip. It's my goat of goat chips. It's my go-to chip. The only thing that I don't love about the salt and vinegar is like when you eat them, it's really hard to eat anything else. Like because it leaves that texture in your mouth a little bit. It's like that weird, like it's salt and vinegar. Like that's what it leaves in your mouth. Like it's kind of weird. So it's kind of weird drinking or eating other. I'm very finicky about drinking and eating certain things. Like there's certain things I will not eat. Like I'm very finicky about my coffee. Like I won't drink coffee, and like I can't eat anything like outside of maybe like a bakery or something with my coffee.
Right.
It's like I'm weird about stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, my top 3: Cooler Ranch Doritos, jalapeno kettle cooked, salt and vinegar kettle cooked. Dom, give us your top 3 one more time.
Barbecue Lay's, jalapeno ranch Ruffles, cheddar and sour cream Ruffles.
Jalapeno ranch Ruffles. I don't think I've had those.
Oh, they're so good.
Dude, I love like jalapeno is like I love jalapeno. Like I love jalapeno stuff. So jalapeno, I'm gonna have to get some of those. Those sound really fucking good though. You know what I mean?
They're fire.
Man, well, that's fun. You got anything parting to say to the wonderful world there, Dom?
Man, step out your comfort zone. When you're watching film, when you're watching TV, when you're looking for something, when you feel like, oh, I've watched everything, step out your comfort zone, watch something new, maybe type in an actor and it'll find people who are kind of closely related or done some of their films, and just take a chance on something new, and you'll be surprised what you find out that you like.
I totally agree. I love that a lot because if you don't step out your comfort zone, how are you going to watch some of the most incredible pieces of film ever? Because there's some great stuff out there. Also, stop being weird about sex in movies, guys. All right. That being said, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Popcorn People podcast. We will be back next week talking about movies and ranking something else that you love to eat. So see you guys next week.
Peace.